Hi friends, this is Krish the Urban Naxal, and I'm making this video not just for our people in India. I'm making this video as a kind of an alarm bell for the entire international community. And I'm going to explain to you why this is so. So let me start with a topic which may seem apart from our usual topic, which is the practice of the trade called under construction property in India. To begin with, let me start with the topic of bonded labor. What is bonded labor? Bonded labor is a form of modern slavery. How was bonded labor practiced? It was practiced as a legitimate business activity. It became illegitimate only after it was banned in 1976. Banned and abolished in 1976. Can you imagine? 1976 is about 30 years after independence. It was banned. What was bonded labor? Bonded labor had many variants, but let me explain a few variants to you. And now I want you to understand how similar it is to the practice of under construction property. Just look at the similarities. In the case of bonded labor, one of the things that was being done is someone offers a loan. It is this activity in the West is called loan sharking. A loan shark is someone who is willing to give you a loan. He comes out of his way to offer you a loan. He wants you to default on the loan. His fun starts when you start defaulting on the loan. So the terms of the loan are harsh. They are harsh terms. You better pay by a certain date or else. It is that kind of terms. They are not gentle terms. Or else what? So, or else I'm going to come to your house and hurt you. Or else I'm going to beat you. Or else I'm going to take your wife. Or else I'm going to tell you to send your son to work for free in my labor camp, in my plantation. So, all these things fall within the band of all or else. If you have a pretty wife, I want your wife to come and work in my house. And needless to say, there shall be sexual exploitation. Goes without saying. If you have a pretty daughter, पैर दमाने को भेजो, बाद में देखा जाएगा. जो होता है. Maybe I'll write off your loan. So what was this? This was the practice of bonded labor. How did you do this? What is bonded labor? So let me simplify this for you. You first held out a legitimate business activity which was lending. Lending to whom? Lending to someone who was in need of the money. Did you help that person? Yes. Did you help that person in a time of need? Yes, damn it, yes. You helped that person in a time of need. Maybe the time of need was he needed the money for hospitalization of his father or his wife or his son. So you lent him money. What happened next was he entered into a debt trap. He entered into an economic trap. And that economic trap enabled the loan shark or enabled the bonded labor contractor to then say, you are now unable to pay up your debt. You are unable to pay off your debt. So I am going to do one of these things. Now the zamindari variant was, I am a zamindar. I lend the money to a villager. He is unable to pay off because the rates of interest are so high. And then I say, I am going to take over your land. You know what? They would have signed a contract. They would have signed. There was something in writing. A Munimji, would be carrying a big red chopra and telling this farmer, hey, listen, Changu, your land now belongs to us, belongs to Zamindar Sahab. Why? Because you have put your angutha over here. तुमने अंगूठा दे दिया है. You have signed. So putting the angutha was the same, the thumb impression was the same as signing. So you have signed. You have consented. And therefore now I will take away your land. Or I will take away your wife to work for me free of charge to discharge your debt, or I will take away your son and your daughter to work for me. I am going to send them to a coffee plantation which is far away. They will go there, they will work day and night, they will sleep in mosquito-ridden places, they will stay in damp and horrible living conditions. I hope they are healthy enough to stay alive. Under such circumstances, only your debt can be written off. I will write off your debt after 2 years or 3 years or 5 years after your son and your daughter have worked off the debt. In the meanwhile, what used to happen is the son and the daughter are sent to the plantation and then maybe the son falls ill. Why? Mosquitoes, poor living conditions, overworking, exhaustion. So then they tell this old man, the farmer, hey, listen, your son has fallen ill. So we are going to send him back to you, but you still owe us money. After the son dies, you will still owe me money. So the farmer will say, wait, I want to treat my son, I want money for medicines. So he will again borrow from the loan shark, the zamindar, and so on. His debt cycle is perpetuated. Now I am going to show you the similarities between under construction property, sales, and this activity that is called loan sharking or bonded labor. Your whole thing rests on a signature, one signature, not aware and knowledgeable consent, but consent. You signed, therefore now I am going to take away your money. How much? I can take away your token, 25,000, 50,000, 1 lakh. I can take away your token plus booking amount number 2, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 7 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Or even more. I can forfeit the agreement and take away the entire thing, whatever you have paid. I can just take it away from you. You will have to give it up. Why? Because you have signed. You have signed, you have accepted these terms and conditions. I can hurt you grievously. I can damage your family's future. Why? Because you made the mistake of coming to my sales office, listening to my salesman, swiping a token, swiping and deciding to buy a flat. This was your mistake. Why did you make that mistake? Well, because my sales team called you, repeatedly phoned you, said come to the sales office, please come and see. You should come because we have a launch, we have a pre-launch, our sample flat is ready, etc. Whatever the reasons were, this is the kind of reasons why people went to the sales office and swiped a token or signed. Now, what happens afterwards is a tremendous amount of pressure. You know the drill. Anybody who knows about under construction property knows the person who has decided to buy the flat is not aware that he is going to be treated like a debtor. He is going to be treated as if he owes money to the builder. Does he owe money to the builder? No, he doesn't owe money to the builder. He has decided to buy a flat. He has not borrowed money from the builder. Has the builder given him anything? No. Has the builder given him the flat? No. But this man who has decided to buy a flat is taught to think as if he owes money to the builder. Interest will be calculated. A demand letter will be sent. If he is not paying, interest will be calculated. Demand letter number 1, demand letter number 2, this much interest, penalty interest. Then they will say, oh, we have incurred administrative charges in writing these letters to you, so we are going to charge you 20,000 rupees per each letter. This kind of crazy charges. And when the person gets frightened or he is unable to pay, they say, okay, you have not been able to pay for 2 months or 3 months and we sent you 3 demand letters. Now we are sending you a show cause notice. Why should we not forfeit your amount? And then the entire amount, whatever he is paid, sometimes even the value of, it could be 70%, 80% of the value of the flat. They will write a letter saying, this amount is forfeited. It is now belonging to us. Do you see the economic slavery here? Yes or no? Do you see the elements of economic slavery? Do you see the blatant exploitation or not? This is not a matter of a little bit of shade difference here and there. This is exploitation. This is usury. There is a word, usury. You know what usury was? Usury meant lending money and then screwing the other guy. Not just taking interest, not just a little bit of interest. Basically messing up his life, basically screwing him, bajaoing him. Okay, that was usury. U-S-U-R-Y, usury. It was not a good practice. It was a horrible practice. It was considered to be an evil practice. Usury. What is happening here, what the builders are doing is usury. Now I want to take you to a place. I'm going to tell you something which will make you think a little bit. You need to think about this, what I'm going to say. I'm going to go beyond what the law currently says. I'm going to take you to a place beyond the law. Okay? So think carefully about what I'm saying. Apply your mind, apply your critical faculties. There was a time before the abolition of contract labor and bonded labor, not contract labor, bonded labor, before the abolition of this kind of malpractices, loan sharking, zamindari, the ability to have absolute power over the other person, his family, that person is a slave to you, that was zamindari. And let me tell you, my grandfather was a zamindar. We had tenants whose existence depended on us in that way. In that way, to that extent. My grandfather wasn't necessarily a good guy. Okay, he was a zamindar. He practiced those things. So I am telling you this from the point of view of me knowing what it was, because my father told me what it was like, what they used to live like. They used to live like slaves. They were the lower caste people. We were the higher caste people. We were the zamindars. They were the, what in Kannada we call holeyaru. Holeyaru are Harijans, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, lower castes. So this was the relationship. Now I am going to ask you, apply your mind. For 30 years after independence, bonded labor was not outlawed, and people would have gone to courts, and courts might have said, bonded labor, if you haven't returned this man's money, you have to continue to work in the coffee plantation or tea plantation, and your son should continue to work and be a slave. They may have passed that kind of orders also. Right? It's only in 1976 that it was abolished. Similarly, what I'm trying to tell you now is this. You got RERA. And RERA is looking at it as a legitimate activity. He is looking at this kind of under construction activity as a legitimate activity. What they are doing essentially is loan sharking. What they are doing essentially is very similar to the practice of usury, which is economic enslavement, through taking signatures on unfair terms and conditions, which are intrinsically unfair. And so, what I'm going to now propose is, what I'm now going to say is, we are not going to just stop short at, okay, this is what the RERA law says, therefore, we are taking the support of RERA law. You need to go beyond that. You need to go way beyond that. And now I'm going to explain a position that I intend to take in the days to come. And I want not just you guys, I want the international community to think about this. Because there is a practice of slavery that is going on. It's a modern practice of slavery. And we need to break this. We need to break it. We don't need to go along with it. We don't need to modify the laws. That's not where the whole thing is going to stop. We need to break it. Beat it, punch it, break it. How? Now let me explain the position I am taking. I will take. Or I propose to take, but I am pretty close to saying I will take this position. Here's the position. Does a builder have the right to forfeit your token amount? From my knowledge of contract law and from what Maharashtra RERA has ruled in many cases and orders made by Maharashtra RERA, let me specify, the answer is no. Why? The logic is that you have not entered into a contract with the builder through the application form. Application form is not a contract. Is allotment letter a contract? No, still not a contract. What is the contract for under construction property? Registered agreement is a contract. Even if you didn't register it, signing an agreement by both sides have to sign, accept a bunch of terms and conditions where the builder is the promisor, the flat buyer is the promisee. That constitutes a contract, a legal, binding, enforceable contract. If you break an enforceable contract, it is possible that your money can be forfeited. It is possible. Okay? Depending on the terms and conditions of the contract, but then there are so many other factors. Is the contract equitable? Is the agreement written in a way that is one-sided? If it is written in a way that is one-sided, then no, it is not permissible for the builder to forfeit the amount. But if it is written in a fair way, then maybe there is some possibility that forfeiting is lawful. Now, I am going to take a position here. Okay? It could be a harsh position, but then we don't have to be, I don't consider it necessary to be fair to builders. Let their chambers of commerce, let their groups be fair to them. I don't have to be fair to them. Let me explain. Do you have the right? Let us assume that a builder rightfully forfeits your amount of 10 lakhs. Do you have the right to go to court? The court will throw your case out. Let us say you have gone all the way to Supreme Court and the Supreme Court, let us say because of your bad fortune or whatever, has thrown that case out and you have absolutely no right as per Supreme Court. Now, there is still one right that you do have. Do you have the right to say, this builder took away my 20 lakh rupees or 30 lakh rupees or 50 lakh rupees? This guy has taken it away. He has hurt me. He has injured my family. He has damaged my family's prospects, its future. He has damaged my children's education. Do you have the right to say it? Do you have the right to say, this flat that I had booked, that I had a registered agreement for, this builder has taken away the money against that, and he has unilaterally, one-sided, cancelled that agreement. Do you have the right to say it? Yes, you do. Do you have the right to say it in public? Yes, you do. Do you have the right to say it in social media? Yes, you do. You have the right to say it even if the law, even if a court has gone and said that you have no further claim and you have no further right on the money. You still have a right to say that this builder has hurt you. Will that have consequences on the builder? Yes, it will have consequences on the builder. Will it hurt him? Will it damage his reputation? Damn right it will damage his reputation. Now the question, the key point, should it damage his reputation? Should you damage his reputation? Let me answer it like this. If a builder can damage your economic future, the future of your wife and your children and your family and your parents, if he can take away the money that you would have used for treatment of your family or for sending your children abroad to study, if he can take away the money that you would have used for buying another flat somewhere else, if he can take away that money, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs, etc., and suffer no consequences for it, do you think that you cannot or should not hurt his reputation? Do you think that his reputation should be protected? So let me give you an analogy. Suppose a man has a right to cut off your hand because you tried to touch his goods. And let us say the law says he has a right to cut off your hands. Yes, he has cut off your hands because you touched his goods. Do you have the right to say, to cry in public and show your hand and say, this guy cut it off, and keep crying in public? And the answer is yes. Will it hurt him? Yes. That's the point. I am Krish the Urban Naxal. Jai Maharashtra, Jai Hind, Jai Jawan.